I'm making shingles out of half rounds today. I've never done this before. I've used them on the wall of some of our buildings, but never to try to seal a roof. All of these are cedar, which is really impervious to rot, but I still have to cut off some sections that widen out a little bit more than others and maybe have a knot or something that's wider in profile than the rest of it. And most of my pieces are ending up around 3 feet long. So I've got a whole pile of these in the van to go through, and then when I'm done I'll take these over to the building site and get started putting them on the roof. Here you might be able to see where this one widens out here, so I'll take a cut right at that point. These knots out of here, I could probably get one more piece about this long. This pile's what we have to work with. We've got a roof to do that's about 10 by 12 feet, and if we're successful, we've got it done for about $20. Leo was kind enough to get me a birdhouse for Father's Day. We're going to hang it here with our pig shelter. We're starting the roof tonight. This is going to be trial and error. I've never tried to do a roof with half rounds, but I think I got a really good thin batch to try to do this with. Hopefully it's going to work out. Got all my materials laid out. I'm going to try not to overthink this and just start slapping these down and see how this goes. So we will go with this as our first piece. And again, I'm going to come out just past the end of my logs here so that anything running off the roof is going to pass over those and drip down here. And then we're going to try to use our level as much as possible to ensure that these are going on straight as we come up the roof line. We're making Space Invader noises over there.
You guys didn't hear anything, did ya? Be honest.
Okay, so I took a few minutes and notched this one here to go around the tree and get my first row positioned. It comes just down past the logs here, and now hopefully this is going to go faster. Okay, so now just like ordinary shingles, I'm going to try to overlap these by at least a third over the one below each shingle. And each nail that we put in will be in the top third of the piece so that the next piece goes on and overlaps even over the nail hole. I've got one here that gets wide at the bottom and it tapers here at the top, so I'm trying to put my thin end on the top each time, which then makes it easier to overlap the next piece. I do find it starting to build out a little bit from the base here, but so far so good. Does it. And I'm staggering my ends, so any long pieces I have, I'll start on this end, run a long piece, and then a short piece on that end, and then run a long piece back this way, and so on. So we're going to have the odd seam right like here and here that may be prone to leak, but time will tell. Here I'm just trying to get the seams cut at the same angle to line them up better and use the best part of the shingle here. So I'm having to do a little bit of piecing things together, but still going pretty smoothly. the roof halfway done. Here's what it looks like underneath. I'm nearly halfway up the roof, and I had a few more pieces like this that were just really thin little slats of wood. I'm going to put a row of them along here, and it's just to bring the angle of the wood down from where it's sitting up a bit this way to more of a flat angle this way. It'll help me sort of restart, and then as I go up and I happen into a few of these wide ones, it tends to build the angle up and steeper as I go. As long as this bottom edge here has coverage on the shingle below it, I'm using the straight angle on the top part to try to keep my line straight on the top of each shingle. Otherwise, I think this is going to become a mess trying to piece it together. Here's a closer look at the roof. I'm changing the lengths each time I come back over the roof so that we have a seam here, another one here, the next one will be there, and that none of them line up directly over top of one another. I'm getting low on my selection of half rounds now, so I try to lay out a few of them that are a similar width and then take them up and see if I can piece something together before I climb my ladder and nail it all in. My lengths are also getting shorter, so I'm having to use 4 pieces now sometimes to get across the roof. It just makes it that much more challenging trying to piece it together. We've made it up as high as the main beam here now, and just to show the roof is strong enough to stand on. It's a bit slippery to work on. But these half rounds have quite a bit of strength. My selection of pieces is getting really low now, so I've got, a bunch of just short little ends here. Doing my best to piece this together. Late. I'm almost out of daylight here today, and I'm just crossing over the main beam right now. I want to make sure that I have these couple layers really watertight for the sake of the chickens that are going to be down underneath this main beam. If I get any drips there, then it's just going to constantly drip on the birds. I gave myself a little knot here in the wood for a foothold as I got up here on the roof. Take the time to saw any knots off the wood before I put it on, because the next layer can end up running into those and causing a problem. It's a little bit too wide right here, and that profile creates a problem also when the next layer goes over top of it and you end up with a gap here. So you've got to stay pretty consistent width on all of these half rounds. Try this one instead. That's as far as I'm going to get tonight. I've been pushing to get this job done so that I could use up all the building materials I have here, so that I can clear out this area for the pigs that are coming in a few days, make sure that their fence is in place properly. The roof is on well enough. It's going to keep them dry in underneath. It'll be a few weeks before I bring chickens here, and that'll give me time to do this last part of the roof here. This was a fair amount of effort, but this entire roof cost me $20 plus nails. If I were to spring for a metal roof for every pig shelter I go to build here in the future, I'd be in thousands of dollars for it. This now gives me the means to produce these shelters for really no cost at all. In the next part, we'll show the finished pig shelter and corral.